The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Tony, how you doing? It's like, you know, I miss my Tony. I got to get my Tony in for the day. Every couple of months, I need my Tony. How are you, my friend?
I love it. I love it. So meet Crystal. She's going to be doing your introduction today.
I know Crystal very well. We both spoke at an amazing on a show called Speak Up, which we're going to show my episode today during my talk. And Crystal is just a dynamo. So who better to team up with me this morning than the amazing Crystal to kick off this day? I was just live with Bernardo in the main room, and then I had to hop off and get onto this room and find the link. So yeah, Bernardo invited me on there for a couple minutes. So I'm here. We're ready to get Stern. Here we go.
You guys have fun. Play nice. I'll see you in a little bit.
Super cool. Crystal, how you doing?
I am great. I am great. And it's always great to see you and to be here, to feel your energy. And you ready? You set to go?
I'm set to go. Listen, let's do something fun first. First off, hats off to all of the healthcare workers and everybody that kept Miami strong through this whole past year. I want to give you some fun facts about Miami before we go into, you know, all the things that I do with Stern Marketing.
Sure.
Did you know that Miami is the only major U.S. city founded by a woman? Her name was Julia Tuttle, Tuttle, and she made Miami an official spot on the map when she encouraged a railroad mogul to expand to the area in 1896. And I know this has been a year of shutting down cities.
Right.
And let's make sure that when this whole thing, gosh forbid, we all get vaccinated and all this thing clears up, get to Miami. I grew up going to Florida, and God bless all of you down there in Miami today who are tuning in. Buenos dias. All right, so now we can get into the marketing stuff. But I love Miami. Miami, the beach is actually man-made, but it has to be constantly replenished. And it actually is a center for Art Deco, and the greatest Art Deco center in the United States too. So I just want to give a shout out to, you know, Miami, because we're here, you know, virtually. We're centering this in Miami, and wow, just the culture down there, and the beach is just like nothing else you've seen in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting place. And so I want to get into the Stern. So you're known around the world as the digital marketing Jedi.
That's right, because my moral of all of my Facebook lives and all my videos is do or do not. There is no try, which follows along the philosophy of Master Yoda. And the other part of that is that you are a gift to the world, and the world needs your gifts. You can teach what you know and what you can demonstrate that you might take for granted. Other people cannot believe. And this past year has been an explosion of doing Stern Storming sessions. I actually flew around the country with my mask on. I bought so many masks this year, it's ridiculous, to help people build platforms and build online courses and then go out there on YouTube and create. So I've been honored to work with so many different people this year, and the combination of the way that we do this, which is to record these videos, transcribe them, do SEO, come out with them as articles on your LinkedIn, pound away on your network there, studying how YouTube tags work and all of that. It's when I say my hashtag is Get Stern, it really does mean Get Stern, that we're going to get serious about this. I'm going to pull out the content from you. And the other thing, Crystal, and you know this, is 90% of the success of our marketing is in us, our performance in the media, our acting in the media. When I am on camera, I could be sad this morning. The cat could have pooped on the rug and I'm storming in the office. But when that lights, camera, action goes live, I'm Darrell Stern, right? And I'm actually pronunciating and enunciating every word. I'm being careful about the pauses that I put into my speech to create that anticipation, right? So what I've learned and what I threw away and what we're going to see in the video that you're going to play in just a second is my talk about how when I was 4 years old, I told my dad, well, I don't even want to tell you what it is. We'll just play the video. But what it is when you center in the line of that thing that you did when you were 4 years old, when you go back in this storming exercise that I do, and I meditate with you, and we go back to the earliest memories that you have, all of a sudden there's a line that really is this thing that everybody's trying to search for called your brand. It's in you. It's your story. And I have a unique way of pulling that out of people. So let's roll that, and then we'll come back in and I'll teach you guys some hot marketing tips to get you going on creating influence.
All right. Well, Darrell Stern, everyone.
And roll.
Video, yes, no, yes.
Video, yes, no. Are we playing the video? Do we have the video? I think they should have it. In green room, are you there? Do you have the video? If not, we'll just go on here. I know I gave that. I gave that to them. They said they could play it, but if not, we'll just
private messages here.
Yeah, you can private message them. In the meantime, I'll talk about a couple things, and if you guys want to cut me off and just roll the video, this past year was a tremendous year for our agency. I was traveling around the world, like I said, helping people create these online courses. But back home in the studio with all of our amazing crew, we actually created 1,017 videos for people like you and entrepreneurs all over the world. Those videos are in two different formats. There's two different parts to marketing. One is give people hope, and the second is prove that you can do it. So I'll explain what the definition of that, what that means in terms of the core philosophy in marketing. Again, it's two. You only have to do two things. That's it.
So you can go ahead and go over those two things.
Go ahead. So give me the fourth thing, and then when they have the video, they can just cut me off and roll it. So the two parts of marketing are give people hope and then prove that you can do it. Now, what I mean by that is in giving people hope, we want to look at what I would call situational avatars that your ideal customer is in from their point of view. So if you got your notebooks out, get your I'll let you pause the video for a second. Okay, and then I'll continue. And you can start rolling the video if you happen to pull it up. What I'm getting at is that here is how to create the perfect landing page video. The first line of your script is, are you scared? Are you frustrated? Are you upset? Now, this line shows empathy in giving people hope and bringing them into your landing page to purchase your course or go to your webinar or join your program or whatever the case may be. We want to show empathy. So we might do one just for this Best You Miami. Are you frustrated because your business hasn't tapped into the great expansive Latino market and you really, really, really want to be seen more and known more in amazing cities like Miami? Okay, there's an are you frustrated line. The next line shows a bit of sympathy and maybe even a little more empathy, which is where you say, do you hope and wish and pray that there was a way that you could do this? Okay, here we go. Roll the tape.
If you're interested in finding your true purpose, if you're interested in finding your legacy, if you're interested in growing, if you are sick and tired of reading books that don't help you, haven't helped you, or are not helping you, or attending courses and seminars that haven't really had an impact in your life, I invite you to read my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, out now. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
So, I'm about 3 or 4 years old, and I tapped my dad on the shoulder. I said, come here, Dad, you've got to get out a pad and a piece of paper. I'm about to dictate to you my entire one-man show based on the book Peter Rabbit. Get ready, here we go. I proceed to tell the entire story as a dramatic monologue, complete with set directions and all these kind of different things in it. And he's absolutely amazed. He just keeps going and writing and writing. He takes me to his philosophy class with him, and he sets up everybody, all of his college students, and he goes, my son is now going to put on a one-man show based on the book Peter Rabbit. That was my very first experience in storytelling and theater. It just seemed to come natural to me. As I grew up, I studied theater like crazy. And I had a talent agent, and between age 9 and age 16, this was all I was doing was show business. In 1983, I got the part of Scooter Computer on ABC's Schoolhouse Rock, which, if you're familiar with those old cartoons, I'm just a Bill Interplanet Janet, were the first cartoons to introduce kids to computers. And this was still, believe it or not, to this day, streaming on Disney+. I was then in 8th grade, half of 8th grade, I didn't go to public school. I was in New York City in a workshop for a Broadway musical, Smile, that starred a young lady named Jodie Benson, who would go on to be the voice of the Little Mermaid. Okay. At the same time, I discovered that I like to write. I still like to write stories, just like when I was 4 years old. So I started writing plays. I said, wait a minute, I don't want to just be on stage. I want to be backstage too. I want to write the production. I want to direct it. I want to put the whole thing together. Sure enough, the first play that I wrote won the New Jersey State Young Playwrights Festival. And the second one that I wrote in 1989 won the National Young Playwrights Festival. So I went to college to be a playwright and a theater director and a screenwriter and an actor. I was jacking into the woods. I wrote a full-length two-act play. It was produced by my college. You know, I won the President's Award in theater arts. I mean, my life was just, everything I touched just turned to gold. You know, when you're a kid, you're just amazing. Every little thing that you could do. You're such a talented kid. You're so talented. You're so gifted and talented. And in 1994, I was selling computers at Radio Shack. What the heck happened? All of a sudden, I wasn't on stage anymore. No one was giving me the part. No one was, entering me into the contest. No one was helping me. The roof just fell out on everything. So my mother said, you're going to go to graduate school and you're going to get a master's in communications and go into television. And I said, okay, Mom. So I did that. I got a master's degree in communications in 1997. Now, this was a critical year because there were these little floppy disks at the CompUSA store that said, make a website. Okay. With something called HTML and HTTP and all of this. I realized this was the thing that I needed to do. This theater wasn't working out. My talent agent called me and said, look, you're not going to be the leading man. You're going to be a character actor. I didn't really like that. So I learned HTML. And I started learning how to put these websites together. I was working in corporate America for about 15 years. I was, coordinating different marketing departments and all of this. But I missed this. I missed being on the stage. 25 years of sitting in front of a computer, and I can raise my right arm over my head like that, but this I can't. It's called mouse shoulder. It's from sitting in front of a screen. So I'm here to tell you today that thing that you put way back in your past, that thing that you said, oh, that wouldn't work out. For years and years and years, my mom and dad sold the big 4-bedroom house to pay for me to have this theater arts degree. And it didn't do anything. I didn't go on to be a world famous playwright or get the leading role in a movie or anything like that. But as I started to do marketing, something funny was happening. In 2005, all of a sudden they started streaming video on this thing called YouTube. And I'm sure we've all heard by now about this thing called social media. So all of a sudden one day I'm working with a client and we're talking back and forth. And she says, you know what? I started teaching her how to speak, how to act out her marketing. And she said, this is great, Darrell. I need a theater director for my marketing. I thought hold on. And then I'm writing for another client and I'm writing this blog and he says, how are you doing that? You sound just like me. How are you writing like me as a character? And then I realized I'm an actor. And what I'm doing is putting on theater only in a digital stage. So I'm here to tell you today that you, all of you, are a gift to the world, and the world needs your gifts, what you can teach, what you know, and what you can demonstrate. that you kind of take for granted, that you put aside, that you kind of just think everybody must know that thing that you're able to do, is your gift that can create your profits and influence. So my dad's a philosophy professor teaching me linguistic philosophy, etymology, and words have meaning. My mom is a school teacher teaching me how to write curriculums and how to organize, classroom kind of sessions and all that. Well, meanwhile, I'm a playwright and an actor and a dramatist. So now I'm going to tell you how I put all those together to create my purpose in life. You see, when you finally, life kind of wobbles around, right? The train kind of wobbles around. I lost my father when I was 24 years old. We lost my mom to ovarian cancer. I got type 2 diabetes. I was hospitalized. And, all that drama, that stuff that happens outside, that stuff that happens to you. But that has nothing to do with what my father taught me, which is that there are a couple of things in this life, in this world, that no one can take away from you. No one. No government, no force, no person, no bully, no nothing. And that is your education, your talents, and your gifts. So I met this local auto mechanic in 2016. Really smart kid. Has a master's degree in physics and engineering, and his sister was an opera singer. So he's very into theater, and he's a big ham kind of guy, likes to be on camera. So I said, okay, I'm going to build him a masterpiece, a Picasso in marketing with theater and media, and also with logic and something called SEO. So first thing I did was make him a website with 60 landing pages, one for each and every type of car that there is and every service that he can provide. Now, this is what I call a situational avatar. Now, listen very carefully. I don't care about demographics. A lot of people talk about I serve people between age 45 and 55, and they're women and they're something or other, or men or whatever, right? I don't care about that. I care about what situation someone is in, because marketing is two things. You see, I'm a philosopher, like my father before me. Watch this. Give people hope and prove that you can do it. That's what all this is. You get up in the morning, what should I do? Click the Facebook? What do I do with this LinkedIn? Should I make a blog? What do I do? Two things. Give people hope and prove that you can do it. So we made these separate landing pages, giving people hope and making a promise that this kid could fix a Bentley, a Lamborghini, a Honda, a Toyota Civic, whatever the heck it is, Honda Civic or whatever, okay? Then we've got to prove that the kid knows how to do it. So relentlessly, I went down to a shop and we demonstrated him doing what he does. How you are sells what you do, right? You actually living the life that you're living, doing the things that you're doing, and using your gifts. Now, there was something else that I had to do just besides make these videos and super optimize them on YouTube. I also wanted to transcribe them, okay, and write out all of the content, the words out of his mouth, and put them on the page. Why? Let's take a time machine back to 1989. There's this guy in Belgium, and he says, you know what? It's kind of boring to have to get out Eric's book out of the library, right? Public library, and flip through it. And it refers to D.D. Wong. And you got to take that book back to the library and go back to the library and get out D.D. Wong's book and flip to that book. What if we could link it all together? What if we could create a hypertext transfer protocol that could take a stream of text and mark it up with something called a hypertext markup language so it will appear on a page, and then do something else quite magical, link them together? In other words, we could go from one document to another in this expansive stream of the extension of our human consciousness called the World Wide Web. Now, let's go back to our auto mechanic. Over and over again, he's talking about brakes and single plane brakes and carburetors and shock absorbers and all these different kind of things. And I'm reading these blogs, what he's saying, and I'm finding linguistic patterns. You might have heard this terminology before. Keywords, key phrases that he, because he's using his gifts and he's tapping into that thing that he loves to do over and over again, he's using that. So all I started to do was link them together. You understand, there is influence in you. It's what you can teach. It's what you can demonstrate and what you know. Okay, sales are coming in. We're doing pretty good. But then I said, wait a minute. I want to use this philosophical reverse engineering logic kind of brain that I have and say, let's reverse engineer influence. Let's reverse engineer something that could go viral. Okay, so a lot of people have a problem with something, right, that everyone's trying to solve, and you can solve it too, right? So here's your homework. I'll let you pause the video for a second so you can get a pad and a piece of paper. Okay, now, I used to be a stand-up comedian. I can't leave the comedy out of it. I had to put in something. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down 10 things that you can teach and that you can demonstrate and that you know, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to record those and transcribe them and just simply interlink them together and be relentless about it. Now, I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, okay? World famous for the Wizard of Menlo Park, Thomas Alva Edison. Edison said there are two types of people in this world: those who are successful and those who quit. It's a motto in my life to be relentless, right? What is the problem with most people in business? What's the problem with most people trying to do something online is they do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 videos or blogs or Facebook posts, and they go, oh, it didn't work. And I say, look, you hardly tried to do it, right? Now, think about someone who's a doctor or some of the other speakers that you're hearing from today who have studied for years and years and years to be where they are today. Did they just take some seminar, watch some seminar online and buy some $59.95 dollar kit through one of these, God forbid, funnel things and just, turn around and start public speaking? No, they're determined to use their gifts and use their gifts to serve the world. So here's my challenge to you. Tap into yourself. Think about what your gift really is to this world. What can you teach? What do you know? And what can you demonstrate? Your business is not something that magically is over here where the rest of your life is over here. You see, I found my center. My bullet train is on course. Because every day when I get to do one of my stern storming exercises with someone, where I say, okay, the first thing we're going to do, you're going to think about in my mind is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to go back, all the way back to the first thing you can see, the first thing you could smell, the first experience that you had in life. Because those experiences, when you first learned a life lesson, when you first learned that people can love, where you first understood what caring was, when you first learned you could teach somebody something else, when you first learned something about philosophy, those things built who you are today. And you are a gift to this world, and the world needs your gifts. And when you tap into those things and you're relentless about it and you say, I know this, I know how to do this, I fixed this, I can help you. Give people hope and prove that you can do it. There is influence inside of you. I'm Darrell Stern. See you later.
Hey guys. Yeah, you can bring me back on live. We can just shut off the video. It's all good. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. That was an amazing experience working with Dee Dee Wong, who's one of our speakers here. So the moral of the story is that your marketing is inside of you. It is your gifts. It needs to be, though, presented in a way that is dramatic and true to who you are. Once we do this exercise, I can even show you, some examples. This is an exercise that we did, a stern storming session, where we actually came out with 217 different stories. This is from Mike Armstrong. He lives down here in Arizona near me. 217 different stories from his life that then are the map of the content. One of the biggest problems or frustrations I'm sure you have in creating digital marketing content is waking up in day and going, okay, I got to make something new. I've got to talk about my business. But here's the problem is when you're just talking about your business and you're just talking about pushing your business out. Hey, this is my business. Here it is. You're pushing. When you are being transparent and telling great stories from your life and giving hope to those, that you can give help for. And I always say this too, ask yourself this about your business. What turns your soul on? In other words, what is it that you, at the end of the day, might drop at and go, wow, I saved some people's lives. I helped some people grow. I changed how some people think. I healed people from cancer. I helped people from stopping drinking. I moved people into a state of bliss. I coached them into a way where they can run their company better. This is just an example of some of the amazing types of people that we've worked with this year, like you, I hope, coming up. So giving people hope is where you actually then literally make them feel, wow, I found that solution. I found you. I found Crystal, right? She's an amazing coach. She's an amazing influencer, right? You're searching around and you're trying to find a solution to that thing that hurts inside of you. And then you see Crystal's video and you say, wow, right? Like, I'm so glad I found you. But at the same time, she's constantly producing content from her life, lectures on what she knows, teaching her philosophy, and that proves that she can do it. And in that magical combination, through the structure of how we work together, we will be able to create more profits and influence than ever before in your business. Now, there's another part to this, which is something called SEO and search engine optimization, which I'll give you a little hint about it. At the intersection of you can fix a problem, and a lot of people are searching for the answer to that problem, and you add your own voice to that global conversation around fixing that problem, at that intersection creates your most viral content. 4 years ago, as I'm working with this auto mechanic, we did some research and we found that a lot of people drive Jeeps in Colorado, and that Jeep has a flaw called the Jeep death wobble. Well, guess what? Other videos out on YouTube with millions of views, hundreds of thousands, 40,000, 50,000 views. We put out this video, and a couple months later, Saul messages me on Facebook and says, you know, that video made us $20,000. That video made us $40,000. And now today, that one video on YouTube, among the 250 others that we did for him in 4 years, transcribed, made into blogs, SEO links, put out on Google Maps, which is the other social network that nobody talks about. And he has now made over $7.9 million. I'm so honored to be working with different people that I've gotten to work with and the new people coming on board this year, because I'm helping people cure cancer, get off of alcohol, clear the negative thoughts in their mind, stop anxiety, whatever the case may be. And we will work very hard with you to get at that trauma, right? To teach you how to act this out in a way that brings hope to people. And that when you're taking care of proving that you can do it, that you are manifesting to the truest extent, where you are presenting yourself as so knowledgeable, centered, pulling your shoulders back, imagining that there are wings of an angel coming out behind you, so that you literally do get to prove every day that you are a gift to the world. So,
if you're interested in watching the video content of this interview and many others, or interested in learning from world leaders and teachers, go to www.thebestyou.online.
I'm sure Crystal might have some questions for me. Crystal, if you want to come back on as the co-host here, maybe we can do a little Q&A a little bit and talk about this magical thing called Stern storming and the influence that's inside you. I want your feedback. I just started public speaking 3 years ago, so I'm always looking to talk about it and to hear your questions, because digital marketing, is, where do I go? What do I do next? So do you have questions about this?
Yeah, I think the fact that you go through people's lives and look at, what are the different stories that you can use from that? I do that as well. And we want to bring Tony on here too for this part. He's going to add himself. There we go. And we'll just have you in the middle there. But yeah.
I'll put my arms around both of you guys.
I feel the love.
There you go, right? I feel the love. Feel the love, right?
But being able to bring the stories out, for people is key. And you said with your name, it is a stern approach that you have to take with people, right? And so being able to get that out of people and then wrap it with all of the other things that you know about marketing is also key, because people don't necessarily know that you can use it in so many different areas. Like you said, LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, and like have where it's just showing their life, that they're just living their life, but it's something that they can make money at. So what you do, I think, is priceless.
Thank you. The reason why I go through people's lives so much is when I get to writing those landing pages, in a part of that script, after you're giving people hope and saying, what if I could take you to the other side? What if I could teach you this? What if you could learn through this or break through this barrier? There's another part to the script that says, I promise you, because I have done this, because I've experienced this, because I'm living this. And as I'm listening to the story, just like I listened to Peter Rabbit, 40 something years ago when I was 3 years old and regurgitated it as a story, I'm taking your story and I'm crafting it into playwriting. So I've experienced what I am teaching. I'm living proof of it, because I know I am a dramatist, a playwright, and a theater director. Yes, I also know SEO and YouTube and tags and how to post on Facebook and all these other gadgets that we use today that are just new ways of communicating. They're just a new stage for us. And that I've been doing, sitting behind this computer for 30 years, trying to figure out how all of this digital stuff works. But at its core, you can go back to the Bible as allegorical stories that move us, Grimm's fairy tales, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, whatever type of morality play you want to talk about, storytelling and crafting the acting and the drama out of that. Doria Cordova, who's speaking today, I flew to her in California, and she was able to condense her 2-hour-long presentations into 4-minute segments. And she was so surprised. She's like, wow, I can teach that whole concept in just 4 minutes. And I help you get this to a way that people can digest it and they can learn from you. And God bless my mom, who I lost to cancer years ago, who was a teacher. She was a school teacher, and we were always building curriculum, how to teach, how to make it so that these modules are teaching. So I'll give you another tip. Online courses are 4 videos in each module. Okay, get out your pens and your pieces of paper. This is what I developed. An intro, which is very short. Hey, welcome back. Last week I taught you this, then I'm going to teach you that. A story, which is a story from your life where either the upcoming lesson was totally not apparent, like you were totally the opposite of what you were about to teach, but then you learned a lesson, or that euphoria moment, that epiphany, when this happened in your life that you learned it. Then you teach the lesson in another video, and then finally you give them an activity thing, an activity video, which is just as your homework is. And that's the formula that we did this past year to create over 14 online courses. And the miracle of the internet is this. A billion people can listen to Beyonce's music. Thomas Alva Edison, I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, can listen to her music and have an individual soulful experience, but she only recorded that song once, right? And the barrier that we reach in coaching and dollars per hour and how many clients we have to get each month, and we've got to be there on the Zoom call, and we've got to run the meeting and coach the people and all this stuff. You have to understand the miracle of the internet and the miracle of being able to record this experience and act as if the person is with you now learning, where they're going to see it later, and you can pause to give them that emotional, thing to react in that, which I coach you through, so that then it's a time-space continuum where a billion people can be learning from you while we're doing this interview. And that's the miracle of mass media and what Edison invented with that spinning vinyl disc, about 100 and something years ago, called the phonograph.
Yeah, I really want to add something. A mustard seed, right? The smallest seed probably in the world turns into a very big tree. And then we use that. I've been sober almost 10 years, so I'm glad you addressed that. And we find our darkest day, when we thought we couldn't go any further, somebody gave us that mustard seed of hope. And now it's my job to share with somebody that's listening that if you can just hang on with that little bit of hope, we can show you a bright life. That your whole life can bless somebody else later if you just get past where you're at in this moment. Stay present, keep going. They say when you're in hell, don't sit, keep going. And this day this too shall pass. And so hearing you share that you've helped a lot of people get sober, though a lot of these sober people in my community have gone off to do brilliant things that they may not have done prior to sobriety when they didn't have that spark.
Yeah. I'll give you a research for that. Dr. Barbara, like it's spelled, Dr. Barbara Academy. Her family she was not sober for about 40 years of her life and literally had to be homeless, sleep on pallets, to pull herself out of her own family and the incredible abuse. She finally stood up to her father when she was 19 years old, and her father, in a drunk blackout, they call it, clenched her throat and almost killed her. And she finally just got out of that situation. We made that into her course. She actually has 3. She's the only client that came out with 3 different ones. The next one is about PTSD, not from being in the military, but from this trauma. So her course is only $10. We made it so cheap that 1 million people could purchase it, because if you're in the middle of that. Sorry, Crystal. Tony and I can just hang out all afternoon,
No, you're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to put up the L here, because one of the things that you're saying that people need to really, really understand about how you go about that, and even how some of the greats do. I'll call it like Lisa Nichols, and even like David Fagan. He can just change what you say into a story at the drop of a hat. Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing, Darrell, is listening to your clients so that you can then take that and put it back into how their words would be formatted. So not like a digital marketer person, did this. It sounds like it's their language. So that L word, listening, is so, so key in how you do it with your gifts and talents.
So you are correct. I am a theater director who has produced plays, live theater, and directed actors. I teach you how to be an actor playing the role of yourself in your own online course. I flew to Washington, D.C. back in July to work with Dr. Ruby, and we filmed her entire online course plus 50 more videos in 4 days flat. A lot of people are frustrated because, the course is taking 6, 7, 8 months. And I said, let's go, bang, bang, let's do it. So in that living experience, I am the theater director. I'm literally in the director's chair with my phone, the clip-on microphone, the lights, and all of that. And I go, okay, the next video is the lesson. Let's center on that. We know that these are the steps in the lesson. Ready, lights, camera, action. And I take you through that. And I've done that remotely. Danielle up in Denver is teaching people how to live in bliss. And we did it on Zoom. I just watched her film the course. I'm live with her on her laptop, and she's making this course. And we did it in 4 hours. The big difference that I bring to the table is I'm really teaching you how to pause, how to look at. When I used to be a voiceover actor, we would bold, and I'm sure Tony knows about this, we would bold in the script the word that you're supposed to really say, right? That you're supposed to say smooth, like pause on that word and extend it and slow down, so that then we can really add that piece of drama into it, which elevates you from the other people. I know there's lots of people doing storytelling marketing, but this is going a step further, where I'm really teaching you how to perform it in the mode of an actor. I'll tell you one more story. When I went to London in 2016, I went to the Globe Theatre and I saw Shakespeare. It's a replica of it, but it's really there. The Globe Theatre where Shakespeare did his performance. And I said, wow, what is it? 500, 600, 400 years, Shakespeare's words have been, and poetry have existed in our culture. What if your marketing were so well phrased, was so poetic, was so well performed that it would still be here 400 years ago, that 400 years from now? What if your courses and your marketing and the stuff you're putting out on YouTube would be here long after you? Because it was so well crafted and you so nailed it and gave people hope and proved that you can do it and move people emotionally. The hint is right in front of us. You go to Facebook or LinkedIn, there's emotional buttons under the thing. It says like, love, wow, angry, or sad. So What do we want to do in this media? We want to move people emotionally, and that is called theater.
Well, they say all the time with the share, do you remember what they said? They said, no, but I know how I felt, and you'll never forget how you feel. And then you can go back and get more information if you're inspired through emotion. And we all, you can hear people and it goes, want, like Charlie Brown, right? Want. That's all you hear, want. And it's a lot of words that you think have value, you think, but maybe they're not getting it. Maybe it's not absorbing into their soul, but if you make them feel something by telling the truth and being honest and vulnerable in front of them and showing them how you got out of your situation, then they start to listen and pay attention. You can hear all day long, but are you listening? The L.
Yeah.
The L.
And so you know this. I mean, people buy because of emotion.
Absolutely.
We all make emotional decisions to purchase anything. If you're not moving me emotionally, I talk to so many people so frustrated. You know, they're putting out content and they're trying to do this and they're not understanding that we must move our audience, you know, emotionally. The other part, especially with online courses and all of that, is we're not selling anything. We're not selling a course. We're enrolling students. My father, being a philosophy professor, taught me, you know, words have meaning. The way you say everything can shift you from falling flat to Tony Robbins, right, to Bernardo Moya. Why are these people such great speakers? And so great at moving people? It's because they're looking at every single word in their talk and how they do it and where they're pausing and where they're doing it. A great exercise is just do a video blog, just do one. Go get it transcribed at rev.com, then read the transcription. And you'll find some funny things when you see "and" at the beginning of every paragraph. And I did that.
Yeah, that's funny. We have to do that a lot.
Right.
Kimi.com,
right.
Another source.
And then you can see if you're ready for stern storming, I can teach you how to eliminate all of those other words. The biggest word right now is basically. It's the new Valley Girl word. Remember the Valley Girl? Let's go to the Galleria, So everything says, what is your business about? Well, it's basically. There is nothing basic about you. Stop calling yourself basically anything. You're extraordinary. Get that word out of your vocabulary. And we practice and practice. Because what that is that's us thinking about the next word we're going to say. And we think our bodies are trained to keep making sound. Just to keep and basically. And when we can learn that is a pause, which is the most powerful word in dramatic writing, is pause. To be or not to be. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, what Hamlet is contemplating is to exist, or should I do myself in? Should I leave this world and execute myself? Yeah. That's what he's saying in that line. So it's to be or not to be, should I just pull myself out of this situation? And
even when I do this same kind of thing with my coaching clients, when they do their affirmations, it has to do with the inflections, like you were saying, the bold that you put on certain words, as well as pauses, because a lot of people suffer, for instance, from self-confidence issues. And so if you're going to say, I am confident, if you just say it like that, that does not sound like you're confident. But if you say, I am confident, or I am confident, or I am confident, or even if you put it on all through 3, I am confident, that has more of a meaning, and your ears can hear, you can hear through your own ears how you're feeling about yourself. And so all of this is really, really key on how you say the words to yourself. And you being able to bring that out of people and then make it into their landing page, I think is just phenomenal.
Thank you, Crystal. And we are in a constant journey to understand ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I have monologued my way through my mom passing away from cancer, my father before that, the divorce, the business going up and down and being high and being low and all of that. And we have this internal discussion with ourselves. So thank you for doing such much work with positive affirmations, because it's kind of funny. You can just say, I'm great at this 5 times a day. Just trust me. I'm great at this. I'm great at it. I'm great at this. And there's this moment where it finally goes down to here, right? Because we can train ourselves to just say, you write positive affirmations. I'm a good business leader. I'm a good business.
It's funny. There's a restaurant.
I am a good business leader. And then all of a sudden you are it, right?
There's a restaurant here in LA called Cafe Gratitude. And you have to order by saying, and the menu, all the things that you're going to order is, I am beautiful. I am great. I am love. I am valuable. That's how you have to order it. And I can't tell you how many people I've brought there that cannot say that. They said, just give me that dish. They're like, no, you have to say the name of it. And they can't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
100%.
That is so cool.
Gratitude. Yeah, it's an amazing chain restaurant all up and down California. So a little shout out to you guys. I love you guys. They're good friends of mine. Cafe Gratitude.
Exactly. And I've worked with Tony for years, to tell him, and he's repeated every day, I love this hat. I love this hat.
Absolutely.
Because for years he wouldn't wear the hat. And I moved him. I'm kidding.
It was perfect for Miami, though. I actually need to do the Miami. Let's go 70s Miami. There we go.
So here's the funny thing. This is the Johnson and Murphy. We're going to go off on a tangent, Crystal, for a second. So this is Johnson and Murphy, their new style, right? This is what my dad, I'm turning 50 this year. This is my dad's clothes from 1973. And it's the latest fashion. They can't do much with a shirt, Crystal. Men in fashion, it's like, what are we going to do with the shirt? I mean, that's all we do. That shirt.
I don't want your last words to be, what are they going to do with this shirt? We need you to tell people where they can find you and all of that kind of thing.
So here's what I did. I made an extraordinary thing for you. If you go to www.sternmarketingacademy.com, everything there is 75% off with the code TheBestYou. So you go and you get your email address and your password in there. If you buy one course, I'll give you all of them. You can do 4 hours of Stern storming with me. It's 75% off to what you're going to see on there. And we will go through your entire life. We will create new online courses and platforms. I will write with you the most dramatic landing page content that you ever had. We can launch the whole thing. I've been doing this for, 30 years, 30 days flat, from zero, not having any clue, to a full-blown online course, a platform, YouTube channel, the whole 9 yards.
Nice. That's a lot of value. Well, thank you so much. We're getting ready to run to our next section, but I know, Crystal, you want to end what you started. So let's take us to the next section with thank you, Darrell.
He told me to say thank you, Darrell. So thank you, Darrell.
You're welcome. And you're both a gift to the world. And thank you so much. Have a great day hosting the rest of this. You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, we're having so much fun. Well, we'll see you throughout the whole weekend. So you guys keep watching. This is the best You EXPO in Miami, and this is virtual, but for us, it's actually, I'm getting more engagement than I do at home because we're on a lockdown here. So this is very exciting for me to be engaged with other human beings. So you guys keep watching. We'll be right back.
For more information, go to www.thebestYou.co.